All right, we are back, and it's Let's Play and Chat. Our friend Jason is back. How are you, my friend?
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. We're playing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Definitive Edition, so it has all the expansions and stuff. We're going to get through it in the next 15 minutes, the whole game. You guys ready? Here is our speed run of The Witcher 3. Go! Jason, go! No, we're showing it off on the Nintendo Switch. This is new to this platform. Just came out yesterday, and I was very excited to check this out. It's something that will blow my mind when I'm playing it on planes. We've got a trip to Japan coming up pretty soon, so there's going to be a lot of game time, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing something like this on the long haul. But Jason's diving in, so this is more just to kind of get a feel of how it looks and how it runs. This is obviously the docked version of the game. It would all look a little bit crisper in handheld mode. But this is a Let's Play and Chat segment. So we do the playing, you do the chatting. If you've got any questions or comments, go ahead and ask us. I started to type in to Miss Hojat. I have played Lone Echo and Echo Arena, and they're incredible. Super, super cool. Yeah, that's what's the name of the developer again? That's the Lone Echo games.
How many times
they did the God of War portable games. These guys will tell me. Ready at Dawn, yeah, they're amazing. I love those guys. They're incredibly committed to making cool experiences, and then Oculus. This is what I love about Oculus, actually, is that they're investing in great ideas, and Asgard's Wrath, I think, is one of the latest, and the Oculus Quest. They're not giving up on this. They're using all that Facebook money, and they're throwing it at cool projects, and making stuff that matters and sticking with it. You know, the fact that Jason Rubin is there, and the fact that John Carmack is there, and they've got lots of other vets that work at in the Oculus division. I think we're going to be seeing some really, really cool stuff from those guys. I mean, we already are seeing some really cool stuff. But I like all that stuff. Question from Nintendo Boy 17. Vic, if you had waited, would you do a versus between Witcher 3 and Dragon Quest 11 on Switch, being that they are both ports from higher-end systems? That's a great idea. I don't think that it's too late to do that. Versus we used to run as a segment in the show, even after we had done individual reviews, especially when we went to reviews on the Run Daily. Maybe I will do that, but I am inundated right now with lots of things to kind of keep up on, but that is a very good one. I will definitely put that into the think tank right there. I like that a lot. I'm so glad that the Analog Pocket is a thing. I've always wanted a backlit solution to play Neo Geo Pocket color games. This is from Abby Jameson. You guys didn't see my face today, but I think if you know me, you probably could have predicted what my face was looking like when I got that email from Analog.
Take off the blindfold.
I'm super excited. I had people tweeting at me, "Are you getting this thing?" And honestly, I didn't really want to talk about it too much because I don't want them to sell out. So the second they're available, I'm getting one. I can't freaking wait for that. I'm psyched that I'll be able to get adapters and play my Lynx games again on better, because I have all those old. I have all that old hardware, and I have the little GBA Advance where you could flip the screen, and you got that tiny little, and it looks cool, but yeah, it's so rinky-dinky, you know. I want it to pop and be super backlit and be beautiful and current. And the fact that I can dock it and run all that stuff on television, I am so fired up for that. I love the Mega SG and the Super NT. Analog Pocket would be great for HD capturing. Yes, of course, that as well, Nintendo Boy. I think Oculus will need to match the Index for me to buy it, sadly. A fat chimp saying that.
Of course.
Yeah, the Index looks amazing. I don't have one of those. I don't have the new Cosmos, the new Vive Cosmos. I've got the Vive and the Rift, and I think the Rift 2 is going to be coming soon, so I'll talk about that. And I've got the Quest, and I've got PlayStation VR, and it feels like I've got a lot of conduits into VR, and I think, like a lot of you, you're all waiting for that, oh my god, I can't live without it kind of machine. And I don't know if that fully exists yet.
Cut it out.
I think the Quest is the closest. I think that if you're curious about VR and you've got $500 that you want to throw in that direction for hardware, around $500, the Quest is that decision, you know. PlayStation VR would probably be the second choice, but you'd also need the PS4 Pro. I would recommend that you have the Pro. to run it, and then it starts to get pricey, and there has been a noticeable drop-off in VR Grid. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, but there's been a noticeable drop-off on the marquee cascade of games in VR that we had a couple of years ago as the PSVR was launching. You know, there was a lot more momentum and a lot more buzz. I'm surprised, honestly, that there aren't more games for the Vive and the Valve kind of world that are exclusive to them, or that they are really getting behind and marketing and putting a ton of buzz around. It feels like the biggest stuff that's coming out in VR game-wise is from PlayStation or Oculus, and that's fine. But we still could use, you know,
I'm very sorry, Uncle Vesemir.
I think not just game brands, but brands that we are fully cognizant of and invested in and aware of, with Arkham Asylum caliber content. Like Batman VR was pretty cool, but it would have been better if it was closer to Asgard's Wrath, you know? Anyways, big games are coming out less and less for sure. VR Grid's backing me up there. Iron Man VR could be a turning point for sure. I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's, you know, there was this misnomer with video games that the licensed stuff was really killing the credibility of the medium, and that there was a lot of shovelware associated with a lot of licensed stuff, and for a big chunk of time you could say that was true. Although it is very interesting. I'm doing this 16-bit superhero thing on a regular basis now. It's very interesting to go back to the licensed games from an era where, you know, I'll check out the Wikipedia listing or whatever, and they have like, how was this received back in the day, and it got a 2 out of 5 from Next Gen magazine or something, and I play it today, and it's like, this is fun. It's not amazing, but it's fun, and it's like a time capsule representation of what these characters were like back then, and there's value in that. And I feel like the industry has been so quick to kind of define its own stories and its own characters, partially because it's expensive to license stuff, but also because there's been such bad buzz around licensed stuff over the years. But I think Arkham changed all that. Spider-Man has changed all that. Presumably Marvel's Avengers will change all that. The Lego stuff has changed all that. There's lots of good current things that you can point at where it's like, yeah, these are amazing recreations of properties that I love. And there are also lots of classic games that you can point to that were solid, but were maybe overlooked because they didn't quite compete with Mario and Sonic. And that's fine. That discourse was fine back then. But I feel like if you're living in a cluttered media age like we are now, where everybody is a broadcaster and every device has you pointing at something else right now, why not flow with the stream and build game properties that are already aligned with lots of awareness out there? You know, the fact that we don't have, you know, a Blade game announced on the same day that the Blade movie is announced is silly to me. It's like, well, here's your Captain Marvel movie. Why don't we have that, or a game? Why don't we have that? You know, why don't we have an awesome Wonder Woman game? Why don't we have the Cassian Andor video game? It just doesn't make sense to me that Blake is shaking his head. Does not want he will not play or purchase the Cassian Andor game. Why don't we have a Picard game? You know, where you can play as an older character with some amazing flashbacks that let you play interactive moments from Star Trek The Next Generation. I know that it's dangerous territory, and I know that there aren't enough developers to do all of that, but I feel like some of that knob turning and development sort of investment would bring more people to the medium. That's exactly what happened with Spider-Man. Exactly. More people probably picked up the PlayStation 4 controller when that game came out than almost anything else in PlayStation's history, I would imagine. You know, I don't know what the numbers are, but it was the fastest selling game, and yeah, and it deserved every accolade it got. Okay. Iron Man will be the next big game. It might be buried launching a week from The Last of Us 2. Yeah, Blair Farrell, you're right, you know, and I don't think it's going to have the gameplay or the staying power of The Last of Us 2 or the emotional weight of The Last of Us 2. And every media outlet in the world and streamer out there is going to be focused on The Last of Us 2. But Iron Man will pop because it's Iron Man, and it's a good fit for VR. Marco A says, I tried the Index. The finger stuff is cool, but there's still a bit of learning curve to use it. Yeah, super psyched for this next gen, but I'm more psyched on proper cordless, lighter systems. I don't know what the solution is. Maybe it's. I didn't really talk about this in my catch-up piece right there, but one of the things that I have noticed about the Quest is, and the Rift as well a little bit, which I'm curious about the Rift S, is they're comfortable for a while, but if you're in these things for hours, they start to weigh on your face. And I had red marks all around my face after playing the Quest for hours. In the summertime, and I woke up with those red marks, and I had them for half the day. The next day, I'm like, I don't want to tell the world that I play VR when I'm not playing VR. Like I don't want to wear it like a mask. Although I readjusted it again, and it didn't happen again the second time. I found that the PlayStation VR is the most comfortable out of all the VR headsets. Let's see. Question from Farmer. Do you think that Sony and Microsoft push to make a new console and release as soon as possible to stop Nintendo from becoming the dominant console as Switch has to drop features and graphics? I think it was time for these guys to get us into the next generation. I think NVIDIA sort of moved the needle with ray tracing and showing us what's possible on high-end PCs. And whenever you see the graphic horsepower of the chip makers that work on graphics cards kind of show us what modern PCs are capable of, that's when the console companies historically make a decision, okay, it's time to, buy into some of this technology and bring it out at a lower price. So we're going to have some gorgeous looking visuals and some incredible horsepower, with the tools to stream and presumably have some kind of AR or VR connectivity as well. It was time. I don't think. I think that everybody gives mad respect to Nintendo for carving out the Nintendo industry. It's almost like they operate independently of the other guys, partially due to their less reliance on horsepower and graphic fidelity, and more on customer satisfaction and ease of use and using off-the-shelf technologies. Very excited to see what the Switch Pro will be like, though, next year, because we know that that's going to happen, too. But good question, Farmer. Question from Protect. Vic, how do you feel about Batwoman having record low ratings and a low audience score on Rotten Tomatoes? I don't care. I watched the first episode, and I enjoyed a lot about it and a lot from it. I haven't seen the second episode yet. Got to check that out. But if the ratings aren't there for it, it's going to die. I mean, it's just like any other television property out there. I think that it's getting a bit crowded in the Arrowverse, and it's getting harder to make your distinctions. But I think it's pretty damn cool that I saw that logo floating around where it was the Batman versus Superman kind of esque logo, but it was the Batwoman Supergirl combo, and I thought that was pretty cool. I think it's pretty damn awesome that we live in a world where we have a Batwoman show and a Supergirl show, and I've loved the Supergirl show. Not every episode, but I've loved a lot of what they've done there. And I'm the dad of a daughter. I have a daughter. I want her to be able to watch shows and see female representation like that. I think that's super important and super cool. And frankly, these characters have existed in the comic universe for decades. So yes, they should have shows. And it's going to be clumsy building these shows. All of them start out pretty clumsy, and they kind of have to find their way. But the feedback comes in, and people get tweaked, and things get changed, and characters get recast sometimes, and showrunners get replaced, and I have a lot of faith in Berlanti, Greg Berlanti, who oversees all of that stuff. It's hard to make 24 episodes of a show in a season all hit. Flash is my favorite out of all of those, but like last season of The Flash was kind of disappointing. The fact that they put that I don't want to disparage the actor too much, but he was terrible. The guy from American Pie, I don't even know. He was one of the bad guys. I don't even know what his name was. He was in that Street Fighter movie too, and he was equally bad in that movie.
To explain.
What is his name? Chris Klein.
Cicada, yeah.
He was terrible, right?
He
Cicada?
was not great, yeah.
Yeah, right. Like there was no threat or menace. He just sounded like he's putting on his angry voice.
Yeah, very Christian Bale.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, he was like wannabe Christian Bale. But yeah, I'm in for Batwoman. I'm going to keep watching it, and I hope that it gets better and better, and people like it, and the ratings go up. And I like Ruby Rose as a performer, as a person. You know, like when I've seen her in interviews and stuff like that. I think there was interesting visual casting there. But yes, she needs to get more comfortable leading a show and performing, you know, in that role. And you know, she will. That's what happens you give these people time and they get better at it. Question from Danny Johnson. Any news on Tommy T's project? I know that he's in Dubai, and there's going to be some new announcements in television stuff coming up very soon. Like probably this weekend, there's going to be some stuff percolating. They're still a year away. We've texted, and the plan is for him to come up here with a bunch of Intellivisions and come to our cafe space, and we'll flood the room with people and televisions and Intellivisions and let people test it out, and we'll ask people what they think, and I'll get right into it. That'd be an amazing hour, which I really want to put together. Okay, this is the...
Maybe not entirely, but that's for the best.
Back on topic.
Protect, I think there's other battles for you to fight out there, pal. Let's
Looks like it leads towards the main.
okay, let's, Chris Klein, yeah, was amazing in Street Fighter. I like that. How well does the Amico fit in his pants? That's a good comment. That is a good question, and that is an existential question to end the show on. How well does the Amico fit into Tommy Tallarico's pants? Thoughts on Game Pass? I will have some thoughts on Game Pass in the next episode of EP Live. Our next episode of EP Live, we are going to have the developers of the brand new Plants vs. Zombies game that's out on Friday. They're coming in on Friday. We're going to find out about the game and the development and the franchise. Very excited about that, so please come back and join us at the VFS Cafe at 390 West Hastings if you're in Vancouver, or watch the stream online. But we're going to dive into that, and we'll have some new review content, and we'll kick off the weekend in style. How does that sound? All right, you guys, that's going to do it for our show. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Have you dug this?
Yeah, it's really good.
It's pretty cool, right? Fits on a Switch.
It's a good port.
Thanks for all of your support. You guys rock. Play forever.